All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
All right, well, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to GWR Gonzo'S Wrestling Room, November 25th, 2024. I'm Chris Gonzo'S, joined by Tony Gonzo'S and Marcus Fine. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good. Good. Not bad at all. Well, we'll get things started off. We'll start off with the Marcus Fine Indie Wrestling Report.
All right. Sorry, I'm listening to them. Went to two shows this past weekend. Was at the Outlaw Arena on Friday for WCWO. Seen Mike Noble defeat Pogo. Austin James defeated Troy Valentine. He's a rookie guy. I've not seen him before. Ruthless Domination defeated Waterboy and Timmy Jackson. Match of the night. Logan Myers defeated Jimmy Carrot. Brody Botkins defeated JJ Liberty. The WCW Gunslinger champion had already defeated Kenneth James, Cecil Cerveza, and Derek Winter in a fatal four-way non-title match. And the main event saw WCW Outlaw champion Jackson Morgan and Zach Nova defeat Maliko and Zay Gates. So, 65 people maybe. Pretty good night, pretty loud crowd. Jimmy and Logan tore it up like we figured they would. They went 20, 25 minutes. Several near three counts, man back and forth. It was just outstanding. It's in my list of possible matches of the year. That's how good that was.
Sounds like a pretty good card.
So let me go read the ones. I had the my FEW results wrote down, but I think they want to hit them a little different. So let me pull that up to make sure I get the all the info out there. Let me see. Here we go. Okay. Of course, it started out, they had the celebration of the Empire's victories from last month and shooting confetti cannons and confetti champagne bottles and blowing party fades. And Storm Gerson come out and interrupted that and set up a match for later in the evening. Then we saw Gaston LaRue. He was filling in for Vinny Fraschetti, who got stranded in Scotland for a while and then took him a while to get back here. So he wasn't able to make the show. And so Gaston LaRue teamed with Avery Hertz, which is actually a pretty impressive team, to be honest with you. And they defeated Ashton Adonis and Elijah Arrows when Ashton refused to tag Elijah and walked out of the show, walked away from the match. So Bird defeated Ricky Guns. J-Rock Daddy and Logan Myers defeated Ryan Michaels and the Mid-Continental Champion Brandon Day. Zay Gates defeated Tag Team Champion JT Kirk. Jackson Morgan defeated Jacob Rose via countout, which didn't even happen. Jacob Rose is over in the corner waiting on the bell to ring, and Mitchell Taylor snuck in behind him and hit him with that taser. And then after he somewhat put him down, got up, ran after Mitchell Taylor, and Jackson won by count out. So Jackson just stood there and then he left. So, in what was the match of the night, until the main event hit, Storm Gerson and her mystery tag team partner, which was Hidari, defeated Empire's tag team champion Matthew Grant and the women's champion Crystal Moon, and that was very good mixed tag team.
That sounds like a good match.
That would have been match of the night if it wasn't for Jake Oman defeated Ashton Adonis in yet another 20 to 25 minute near 3 fall count match. God, those guys were spot on. So I seen 2 match candidates of the year this weekend. 51 people in Greenfield. So very good night.
Okay, sounds great. Real quick, I wanted to touch on something real quick. I didn't even write it down, but I just remembered it. And I didn't get to watch it. I told Marcus about it too, but I don't think he watched it either. MLW had a pay-per-view that they showed on YouTube for free this weekend, and I do believe it's.
I didn't see it, but the card looked pretty damn good.
Yeah, and I do believe this is the one where Zay Gates debuted. So I am going to try to watch it sometime this week. I do believe this is the show that Zay was on, but I heard it was a pretty good show. So it's a couple hours long. So people out there, you might want to check that out. I could see Zay, and there's some pretty good wrestlers on there.
I saw a poster that had some of the matches or something. Yeah. The ones I saw had a lot of pretty good matches.
Had a couple hardcore matches on there, Marcus. I think you'd be interested in. So sound like a pretty good show. So I want to put that out there, especially people out there that know Zay Gates. Thought they might want to check it out. Next thing was Game Changer Wrestling had a pay-per-view. Had actually quite a few, had pay-per-view Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday. But I watched a little bit Friday, but the main one I watched was Saturday. It's called Dream On. And again, it was Saturday, November 23rd, and it was at the American Dream Mall in New Jersey. What interested me about this, it really reminded me of that show that WCW did back in I believe it was 95, if I remember right. It was the very first Nitro, actually, that they did at the Mall of America in Minnesota. Definitely gave me that vibe. They had a fan fest. Kurt Angle was there, Mick Foley, Ricky Morton wrestled on the show. Pretty good show. I enjoyed it. Another thing that came out of that was Ricky Starks, AEW signed wrestler, made a surprise appearance. He came down the escalator with like a Gucci bag or something in his hand, and went to the ring and ended up doing did a nice promo and did a little bit of action, took somebody out. So it was pretty well done. And actually, they announced he would be making us a appearance at a pay-per-view. I believe I thought it was December 19th, but it's around that area at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York, because Game Changers is doing the Hammerstein Ballroom December. So, Chris, did you get to be able to check that out, that venue? What do you think of what it was set up?
I thought it was pretty cool. I actually found a different video where you could see more of the venue. You could actually see there was a lot of people in that damn place. You could actually see the up on the balcony, all the people on the balcony from that video. You had said look up. It was somebody filming it from the balcony, but on the other one, it was somebody from down on the floor, and you could actually see up in the balcony. There was a lot of people there. Yeah. No, I thought it was a cool setup.
I got to see the setup.
They also had like a blood sport thing there, they had the ropes off the ring.
They did a show, but I don't think it was there. This was done somewhere else. Bloodsport.
Okay, it looked like the same setup. Well, maybe it might not have been at the same building. But
Bloodsport was on Sunday, so I thought it was a different place.
Maybe it was. I saw it looked similar.
Yeah. The thing that I thought was interesting, I got to see the setup on. I watched the show, but I also watched this before the show. They had a YouTube pre-show, and so I got to see it before people got in there. And I was wondering how they did it as far as tickets. Well, you could see that they had chairs in the front, like ringside tickets, and looked like they had the seats marked off and had people's names on them. And then, of course, being in a mall, people could be in the mall and watch it for free. But being that it was a fan fest, probably people that was part of the fan fest, probably the ones that got the front row seats and stuff. So that's how you would sell. I've seen some people critical because I guess JBL made an appearance, which I missed, and took somebody out, clotheslined him, and people was talking about what will JBL be doing on. He must have really had fallen on hard times to be at a show like that at a mall. I mean, what are you guys talking about? I mean, Game Changer Wrestling is doing very well, and they don't have $1 billion behind them, and that they're making money. and they put on as many shows as they put on more shows a year than AEW does and TNA does. They do shows every weekend. So I mean, I think they're doing pretty well. Hard working, hard nosed group. Marks, did you find that video?
Well, I seen the pre-show video.
Okay.
But then what Chris was talking about, I didn't see a video, but I'd seen pictures from both angles he was talking about.
Okay.
Somebody had photographed, and it probably wasn't the guy videoing. I think it was probably somebody else, a fan, photographed it down.
Uh-huh.
And then somebody that wasn't inside that area, they were like out past the area, photographed it like up like that.
Yeah.
You could see everybody across the ring and all those VIP seats and that balcony up there. So, yeah, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I thought so. And they did announce that they'll be back in August for a 2-day event. I think that'd be pretty cool to go to. So.
The camera view of the one that you had us watch reminded me of our first show. We done the camera view there here in Muncie for DCCW.
Yep.
The way it was up in the balcony at an angle like that.
Yeah, the regular show, they had that angle. Of course, then they had people around the ring filming. But yeah, it was a pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty cool event. Pretty well done. So kudos to them. Next up, I wanted to talk about SmackDown. Something happened on SmackDown. It's been a pretty big story this weekend. Paul Heyman made a return to the original bloodline, and he wasn't alone. CM Punk also came, and he is going to be the 5th man. And so it's now going to be Roman Reigns, Jey and Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn, and CM Punk taking on Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga Loa, and Bronson Reed. Marcus, what do you think about that?
I think Brock Lesnar would have been a better pick.
Well,
with the history he has with Paul Heyman and the history he had with Roman Reigns, I think that would have been the awesome reveal. I mean, CM Punk was good, but boy, I think it'd been a lot more.
Well, right now, because Lesnar is part of that investigation with Vince, they can't do it. And I don't disagree with you. I think CM Punk is a good one too, because he's got a lot of history. He don't have a lot of history with Roman, but he's got a lot of history with Heyman, and they can play on that. But I agree with you about the Brock, because Brock has a lot of history with Roman. I thought it was pretty well done. The crowd went crazy. I thought they did a real good job with it. I like the addition of Bronson Reed. I think I know he's not family. He is part Samoan. I think he fits right in. He fits like a glove. Could you imagine him and Jacob Fatu as a tag team?
Nope.
Oh man, that'd be something. So yeah, I was really impressed with that. I enjoyed it. That's been a pretty big buzz of the weekend. Chris, did you get to check it out?
Yeah. One of the things I noticed was the biggest part of that was the pop Paul Heyman got when he came out of that curtain.
Oh yeah,
that arena went crazy. It was loud. And then of course, when he goes in this whole spiel, they all say it with him. But when he first came out of that curtain, basically when they first heard his voice, when Solo was talking, and then all of a sudden said, "Ladies and gentlemen," that place went crazy.
Actually, WWE released a day or two later. They released a video of Heyman backstage, getting ready to say it, and CM Punk standing right next to him, and then Heyman goes into the spiel and starts walking out, and you can see CM Punk saying the script in front of him. He's saying it word for word, back in the back, waiting for his cue to go out. It was pretty interesting to see that backstage thing, a little Easter egg thing to see.
And one thing real quick, I liked how when CM Punk came out, he was still taping his wrist.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I thought that was a good little thing to add to it.
Did you guys notice what Paul Heyman was wearing?
I didn't.
Okay. He was wearing a black coat, a red t-shirt, and a red handkerchief in his pocket, on his coat pocket. And that's what Solo usually wears. So there's a lot of people wondering if he is going to turn on the original bloodline. Now, that could be an Easter egg. It could be a fake Easter egg. It could be, who knows? Some people, there was a thing where Sami Zayn was in the back a week ago, and when they was getting ready to go out and confront the bloodline, he had a cell phone in his hand, and he threw it down on the looked at it and then threw it down on a chair and went out. People are saying Sammy is really against the bloodline. So a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of things going on, a lot of different directions they can go. One thing that they didn't do on mic, but you could see them mouthing the words. Romans told CM Punk that he is my wise man, and CM Punk said I was a Paul Heyman guy before you ever came around. So they were playing on that. You could see them saying that in the ring. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. So I thought it was pretty well done. I really enjoyed it.
I also like the stare downs. Roman stared down Punk, and then when they ended the show, they had the 4 of the guys staring down Punk.
And the other thing that was really cool too was when the 3 guys jumped out of the ring and jumped on the other guys.
I have that on there too. Yep.
And then the other 2 guys tried to attack Punk and Roman. If you notice, Punk puts the guy up to do the go to sleep, and he waits on Roman to hit the spear, and they do it basically at the same time. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. Really well.
Yeah, they packed a lot of crap in a 6-minute segment.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Yep. Next thing, real quick, I just want to touch on. I know you guys didn't see it.
Danger said he heard that Lesnar might be at Survivor Series.
It could be. And another thing that did happen also, Jade Cargill got took out by, I don't know if she got took out by a car or she got through on top of a car. You really don't know what happened. But what they're saying now that she really is hurt. She's got a neck injury, and that's why they had to do this angle, and she'll be out for a while. And it looks like Bailey is going to be taking her place. So at least now, who did that to her, nobody knows. There's a lot of speculation. Some people think Bailey did it. Some people think Naomi did it. Some people are saying Charlotte Flair, because I think Charlotte Flair is getting ready to come back. So
could they do it where it was Bianca?
Well, she was the only thing she could have had it done, but she was in the ring wrestling, so it couldn't have been her at that time.
But it could be behind it.
Yep. So, but that was the other thing about that show. But I'm just going to touch on it real quick. AEW had a pay-per-view this weekend, Full Gear. Decent show. Match of the night for me was Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. The second match of the night for me, it was really good. I know this is going to upset Warren, but Mercedes Moné had a really good match on the show with Chris Statlander. I thought it was a really good match. I know my grandson Austin really enjoyed it.
Why is that going to upset Warren?
Yeah, he's not a Mercedes.
I thought he's a big Mercedes fan.
Yeah, he loves Mercedes. The show was a little disjointed for me.
He likes Mercedes like Marcus likes Shawn Michaels.
Yep. Show was a little disjointed for me. It had some good matches. I mean, it was decent. I give it a B-, but just too long, man. They want to do these 5-hour shows. A little rough for old man. But
they do a Walter Buckley show.
Yeah, they do a Walter Buckley show.
Oh, I'm thinking Jeffersonville, but still.
Yeah, can be that way too.
Whew. I love wrestling, as you guys all know that, but man, you can overdo it in a show.
Yeah.
I'm serious. After a while, you just get bored watching it.
Well, they had 12 matches on the show, and the biggest,
especially when it's like 20 degrees in the building you're in.
Oh yeah, that was.
And it's about. And it's a 5.5 hour show. Oh yeah, it's after about the 2.5, 3 hour mark. I was pretty much
2.5. You lost 2.5 at the intermission.
Yeah, I had somebody quit on me after that show. He never came back.
One thing I want to touch on and I don't know the guys' names, but the thing that they really promoted, something was on the pre-show. They had the 2 Costco guys who go into Costco and eat all kinds of food. I don't even know the guy's name, but one of them wrestled on the pre-show. Actually broke his foot. He finished the match with a broken foot, but he's got a couple of sons that was also part of it, younger guys, and they've done really great views on social media. Millions and millions of views. So that was very popular. So I think they scored something with that as far as getting some coverage. They did a lot of interviews in the New York area and stuff because that's where they're from. Their big thing, they go into Costco and try the food and go crazy about it, rave about it, that kind of thing. But I don't even know the guys' names, I'll be honest.
Well, what did you think? I'm going to go back to last week. What did you think about the State Farm guy on the NWA thing?
on that one show, Jake from State Farm is supposed to be, and he's a wrestler, character,
Sorry, I just
was
thought
all
about
right.
that when you said Costco guys. I thought it was the
Yeah.
State Farm guys. So.
Yeah, that was interesting. It was something different. Well, guys, that's all I have. If we want to go ahead and bring our guest in, we can,
Hope I have enough questions.
we can bring him in.
We keep talking, we'll be good.
It's not like you guys didn't already know. I'm the mutton chop millionaire, Mortimer Blankenship III. How you guys doing?
Doing great. How are you doing, sir?
Well, it's been a busy day, but I'm home. And so with that being said, if you hear the kid screaming in the background, she did it on cue. I do apologize, but yeah, that's the life of being a dad. So.
Well, we got some comments for you.
Kelly didn't waste no time.
No, she didn't waste no time at all.
I don't know why she has issues with me. I mean, she just doesn't like, I guess when it comes to good wrestling managers, managers that have brains, Kelly just doesn't like that, apparently.
Well, I might win the question this night. We'll find out.
Yeah, you might. Mortimer, how this works is we've all got questions for you, and we'll let Marcus go first. I'll go second. Chris go third. And we'll just keep firing questions at you here for 20, 25, 30 minutes. And
I got to get Warren as well. So
okay, yeah, that's right. Because Warren couldn't make it tonight; he's out of town. So Marcus, let's get things started.
All righty. Tell us how you got interested in the sport of professional wrestling.
Oh, I've always watched professional wrestling since I was a kid. My dad watched it. I remember there was a video of me when I was like 3 years old at Thanksgiving talking about Survivor Series and how much I liked the Big Boss Man. I never really thought I was going to get into wrestling, though. Well, it really wasn't an idea that I ever had. I mean, I was always interested in it and watching it, but the way I got into wrestling was actually meeting someone by the name of Luscious Lonnie Lee. He asked me to, he thought I had a good mind for the business and asked me to be his manager. So I started managing him, and that's how I got into the business.
What year was that?
That was 2011.
Okay, my first
2010 going into 2011.
Okay, my question is, as a manager, when you go do a show, what is your goal?
Right now, I take a lot of younger guys with me in the car. I've been doing it for going on 14, close to 15 years. And I've done everything that I've wanted to do in this business. I've had a lot of great memories. And I just want to help the guys and gals that want to take the time to get in the car, make the drive, and, do the show for, when I started in this business, I stayed in my home company, my training company for a good, I want to say 6 years. I mean, I would go places with Eric Draven, but I was, I was dedicated to that one show. I was thankful for when Draven would take me to other places. So that's what I want to do. I want to help these people go. Like back then, I would work for free. I would go to places and do it to get the experience, to get my face out there. Now you can't get new guys to want to go for a $20 bill. But the guys and gals that get in my car that will go with whatever I can give them off of me paying for gas and giving myself my pay, just so they get that experience. That's who I do it for now. The guys like 5 Count Frank, T.Y. Ice, let me see here, Caden Brooks, those, Chet Ripley rides along sometimes. All those guys that want the experience more than looking for that payday. Don't get me wrong. We all deserve paid. But it's just I'm doing it for those guys and gals that want to take the time and go out and do it.
All right. I think I lost my camera for a minute. Hopefully you can still hear me.
Yeah,
But my question goes kind of along with that. How has your mindset changed from when you first got in the business as a manager, like 14 years ago to now?
I guess I've gone with change. At first I didn't like the idea of sports entertainment more than pro wrestling. I am old school. If you watch a show with me on it, you're going to see an old school wrestling manager. And most of the guys that I manage, and I'm sure Marcus can attest to this, they're old school matches. I'm not big on the new school stuff. I enjoy it from time to time, but if I guess my mindset has changed to where I used to get angry. I'm not gonna lie. I used to get so mad watching all these guys do this, stuff that didn't make sense. But, I guess the way I look at it now is on every wrestling card, there's a spot for different matches, as long as they're put in the right place. And I guess, I still get mad if matches aren't put in the right place. I hate going to a wrestling show, watching a hardcore match and seeing a guy get hit with a chair 7 times before he finally gets pinned. And then all of a sudden the babyface loses in the main event because he gets hit with a chair 1 time. It makes no sense. It makes your big babyface in the main event look like I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on this, but look like a B word.
No, you guys go for it.
Yeah, he looks like a bitch. You know what I mean? But the way I've changed is I am more open to the new school wrestling, the strong styles and the flippy doos and all that.
Marcus?
Chris, go ahead and ask Kelly's. I don't ask it. Or Tony, one of you.
All right. Kelly's question is, who's your favorite super fan, Kelly or Marcus?
No comment. I think you both are great.
Ooh, a tie. I've never had a tie.
Yeah, I think that's the first one we've had.
I've only I've won 2. Anyway.
Then we also have a question on here from Justin Danger. Who would you want to manage?
Who would I want to manage? Whoever I manage right now, really. I'm at WTF. I manage Jacob Roast, 5 Count Frank. Other places I've managed TY Ice. In the past, I've managed Eric Draven. I've managed Jerry the King Lawler, Rob Conway, Simon Dean. Who do I want to manage? Whoever wants to have the Mutton Chop Millionaire in their corner and wants to go to the top. That's who I want to manage.
Okay, I'm going to ask Warren's question. Warren is in Savannah, Georgia tonight, so.
Glad I'm not there. That sounds horrible. Go ahead.
He says, what hurdles did you face starting out, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, let's make something straight. I don't jump hurdles. Do you see the size of me? There's no way. But let's just put it out there the way it is. When I first started doing professional wrestling, I wanted to be a wrestler. Let's be honest. I did get brought in as a manager, but as I went into training with Eric Draven at Supreme Wrestling in Madison, Indiana, I wanted to be a wrestler. And after 6 months of trying and not being able to bump properly, I realized that, I can still do what I want to do, entertain the fans, make the kids, laugh and not risk injuring myself as a manager. I have a golden tongue and a brilliant mind, but I don't have an athletic body.
Okay. What mistakes have you made in the business, and what advice would you have for somebody wanting to get into the business?
What mistakes have I made? Well, that takes a lot of reflecting, I believe. I believe not taking a chance on myself sooner. Missing a lot of opportunities early on in my life when I worked a part-time job, when I was just, when my shoot job was just managing an Arby's and, wasn't as tied down. I should have taken those chances back then. Now I'm married, have a kid, work a full-time shoot job at a bank, and you can take that to the bank. That is what I would have done. In my younger, when I started, I was, let me think about this. How old was I? 22, 23. I should have jumped. I should have taken the chances. Also, there is a part, I don't regret it. There's a part of me that wonders if I would have kept pushing and tried to be a wrestler. because I can wrestle. I can wrestle a standard match. I can go out there and I can put on a show and entertain people without taking $500,000 bumps. I can do the old school match, but on most shows, Mortimer Blankenship is not that guy. I can go and do a comedy Morty match for anybody. I would do it in a heartbeat. Put me up against whoever you want, and I will. They're going to be over like Rover, and they're going to maybe take one bump in the entire match. That's just how I work. But part of me wonders what it would be like if if Morty wasn't here and I was some big fat wrestler. I don't really know. That I guess that's probably my. So don't be afraid to bet on yourself and take the chances. But also realize in taking those chances, you have to deal with the consequences.
All right. Before I ask my question, we have another question here in the chat from a friend of ours, Billy. Who was your favorite manager growing up?
Growing up, Bobby the Brain Heenan. He was more of a manager before I started watching wrestling. I mean, I was young and could watch it, but I remember being sick from school when I was in elementary school. And when I'd be sick, my mom would go to the on her lunch break, she would go to the American Rental or Family Video, whatever it was called back then, and get the tapes and let me watch them. And I fell in love with the wrestling manager. All of them were great in my mind. Bobby the Brain Heenan, he was always so funny, even on commentary. That's why I do commentary as well for certain companies. I'm a manager and I'm also color commentary for Wrestling Theology Fellowship. I do both there. I love anything Bobby the Brain Heenan. Currently, Paul Heyman, he's so good with doing so little. He can stand there and just his facial expressions alone will tell a story. And that's what I try to do. Don't get me wrong. I'm a loudmouth. I maybe got some Jimmy Hart in me when it comes to that, which is another great manager, Jimmy Hart. But I try to make facial expressions. That is one thing that tells a story. More than what you say, it's what you look like.
That's one thing. Every time we watch Heyman, that's one thing I'll always point out to you is his facial expressions. He don't even have to be even a part of it. It could be the two wrestlers in there talking, but he'll be in the background. And if you just watch his facial expressions, he's selling everything without even saying anything.
My dogs are about to bark. I can tell. Hey, villain, leave her alone. Okay, sorry. But yeah, something as easy as him holding onto the belt and hugging it, and then something happens and he hugs it tighter. Yeah, I try to tell these, even when it comes to managing or just wrestling, it's not rocket science. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to do it. It's not, it's all emotion. Which I'll touch on that more probably here in a little bit because I'm sure there'll be questions that'll lead into that. So go ahead.
My next question was, how has the wrestling business changed since you first got started in it till now?
All the green people can go travel wherever they want first year. That's all I got to say about that.
You think that's just because there's so many more promotions now, or why do you think why do you think that there's more of the green guys just traveling boom right off the bat?
Because the trainers have become lenient. There's more promotions, but I'm sure some of these newer promoters and probably some of the older ones probably don't ask, hey, how long you been in the business? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. I know whenever I book as well. I help book Supreme Wrestling in Seymour and also Indiana Heritage Wrestling is what I used to book. I hope to bring it back eventually. We just had some issues with the venue. Long story short, hopefully it'll come back. But I know for me, I always and there was a big controversy on Facebook here recently that a guy posted that he doesn't trust doesn't trust people. Zoe Villain. Sorry, guys. Zoe Villain. Let's go lay down, please. Go.
That's all right. My camera went out because my dog hit the tripod, knocked the power cord out of the camera and everything.
Yeah. What was I talking? Oh, there was a big old skidoo on Facebook because a guy said he doesn't. If somebody offers a carload, he automatically doesn't take them seriously. For me, as a promoter and as me a manager, I always offer a carload and I always look for carloads. And I always ask, do you have anybody that's in that 3 to 5 year 3 to 5 year mark that's still looking to get out there more? And I'm starting to learn that when I ask for that, they're just bringing whoever they want that's been trained for a little while. And if I get the word that that's how it is, I usually contact the person who trained them to make sure, hey, is this guy or gal good to go? But I would say that's really the thing that it probably does burn my biscuits a little bit because it was very different when I started, and just the little over 10 years ago that I started, it has changed so much when it comes to green guys and gals just going out and getting bookings. But you know what? If they can do it and they can be safe, good for them. Good for them. Be safe. Don't get hurt. Don't hurt anybody else. And, don't raise your booker's insurance rates.
Marcus?
Well, that's funny because that's the second time I've heard that this weekend. Guys traveling quicker than they should be. Chris, we got one from Tank on there.
Yeah, I'll get to it in just 1 second.
Right. Well, my question is, I ask everybody, and I'm pretty sure after listening to you talk already, pretty sure I know what your answer is going to be. But what is the first WrestleMania you watched within 6 months after it took place?
Oh man, I don't know if I can answer that because I don't have that type of memory, I guess. My family, I could tell, wasn't WrestleMania. I can tell what my first pay-per-view was.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah. Starrcade, 97, Sting versus Hogan.
Okay.
That was the first. I was a WCW guy. My dad was WWF guy, but I was a WCW kid. And I guess when it came to pay-per-views, Dad wanted to do what made me happy. So the first one I remember is Starrcade 97. Saw it, watched it the night of.
All right, another question out of the chat. What's your Mount Rushmore of managers?
Oh, Tank, how's it going? Another good worker right there. I've been on some Functified shows with him. Let me see here. Bobby the Brain Heenan. Wow, that's a real hard one. Bobby the Brain Heenan is the shoe-in, of course. I mean, without including myself, I guess. It would be Bobby the Brain Heenan, and then Mouth of the South Jimmy Hart, just because he was out there crazy, Let me see here. Why can't I think of his name right now? I always Ronnie P. Gossett, and the fourth one, probably Paul Heyman. I know a lot of people like, who is Ronnie P. Gossett? I know these new guys don't have any clue who that is, but look him up. He'd sell his grandma for $100 bill.
Are you familiar with him, Tony?
Yes, I recognize the name, but
I'm the name, but I can't put the face on it.
A lot of people compare me to him. Actually, a lot of the people that know the older, I believe it was Memphis and maybe Texas wrestling.
Yes, okay. Yeah.
The name struck a chord, but I couldn't put a face.
He said Texas and Memphis. Yep, I'm getting it now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Always wore like a newsboy hat.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, and this may be a little tough for you. I don't know if you want to answer it. Do you have a favorite client wrestler that you have managed?
A favorite, of all time?
Yep, that you have managed.
I don't think anybody would be surprised or have any sort of hard feelings because when it comes to the person that I've managed the most, it's the person that I like the most, that I've managed most in my life would be Custom Made Eric Draven. He was my trainer. He's one of my good friends. We have a chemistry that a lot of people that's unparalleled. We play off of each other really well. We entertain the crowd really well.
Chris?
Oh, it's mine again. I was thinking it was Marcus's. My bad. Have you got? I know earlier you said that you'd mentioned one name that you'd worked with. Have you got to work with any other names that have been on TV or either managers or wrestlers?
Yeah, like managed with, managed or managed against.
Either.
Okay. Okay. So the name drop portion. Let's drop some names, boys. Here we go. All right. So I have managed Jerry the King Lawler. I have managed against and actually managed Rob Conway. I have managed Simon Dean, Nova, whatever you want to call him. I've managed against Bill Dundee, and he is really stiff when he punches you. I have, let me see here. It's been, let me see here. Managed against Tommy Rich. Managed against Ricky Morton with Kerry Morton as his manager when he was like 14. My gosh. I've managed against Shark Boy, been stunned by him, got bit on the butt by him. Let me think about it. There's been so many different people. I'm good friend. I've never managed, but I'm good friends with Jimmy Valiant. He's told stories in my car. It's on YouTube. You can look it up. Road Stories with Jimmy Valiant. It's on a channel called Morty and Beard. It's my old YouTube channel with my buddy Beard that we used to do. We did it for about 2 years. Let me see here. Bubba Brazil Jr. I'm drawing blanks now. I just, it's been a lot of fun, and I've managed a few people and a few big names, and I've wrestled across the ring from Jacob the Carpetbagger, who is a famous YouTuber.
Oh no, don't do that yet.
Okay.
That's my question. Please don't interrupt that one yet. Because that's actually my next question, so don't go there yet.
Okay. Okay. I guess we'll go there. Well, it's Marcus's turn. So.
Okay. Tell us about the famed YouTube personality Carpetbagger, how that become about, the match with the Chops, and all that. And
this is a long story. Let's so buckle up. All right. So I love watching YouTube. I have my entire since it came out in 2007 probably. I've watched it since then. I was one of the first 1,000 people that watched Smosh. If anybody else knows what that is, I was one of their first 1,000 subscribers. I absolutely loved that back in the day. But as I got older, I started watching travel YouTubers just because I enjoy travel and enjoy watching other people travel. So I started watching a guy called Adam the Woo, and Adam the Woo had a good friend called Jacob the Carpetbagger. And Jacob, I started watching because I was watching Adam the Woo. And I started watching Jacob more than I did Adam. And I noticed that Jacob would every once in a while mention wrestling. And then he started wrestling down in, I believe it was either Alabama or Georgia, one of those armpit states. And they were down. He did a bunch of different shows, and I always noticed that in his about section, you could literally just email him. It's like jacobthecarpetbagger@gmail.com, I think, or something like that. So I was like, people enjoy watching Jacob the Carpetbagger, and I could probably get him into some wrestling shows up here in Indiana. So I just shot him an email. He messaged back that night. I want to say less than an hour later, I got a message back, and he shot me a price and what he would need. He came up. His first time in Seymour, he actually did a video about Seymour, Indiana. And it's funny because we were supposed to be against each other in the storyline, but I was the one that was taking him around. So you could actually spot me in the reflection of the glass in one of the videos, which is kind of funny. Nobody has spotted it yet. Nobody's actually called it out on the video and tagged it. So there you go, Marcus. Go back and find that.
I'm going to now.
Yeah. And also you can see my shoe. I'm wearing like a galaxy striped shoe in that video as well. But so I brought him in, and he managed Leon Elliott, and I managed Eric Draven, and we had a match, and it was a good time. I kept talking to him because he had a really good time doing it. I think it was the first show that he actually got to hit somebody with his briefcase. You know, he has a steel briefcase. Like I said, I just kept talking to him, and we came up with this plan of, you know, I knew that he wouldn't be able to come and do the shows as often as we'd like, but he would come, he would manage somebody on the show against one of my guys. During that day, we would actually train enough in a match against me that he'd be safe and that we could tell a story. And we did that for 3 or 4 shows over the course of 6 months. We did that little build up, and we built up the entire time that, you know, when he first met me, I had a beard, which was the only time in wrestling that I ever grew out a beard. I don't know why I did it, but for some reason, the first time he met me, I had a beard. I've had sideburns. This is a true story. I've had sideburns like this or bigger since I was 14. When I first started growing out sideburns, that's what I did. So we made this story of where Mortimer Blankenship stole his look. That you know, all of his fans thought that I was this complete jerk that stole his look, while all the fans in Madison thought that Carpetbagger was a jerk that was, you know, just tried to, you know, use his fame to keep a guy like me down. It was great. It was like, to the, you know, the 1,000 people in Madison, I was the good guy, and to the hundreds of thousands of people, I was the bad guy, and vice versa. It was crazy. It's like if you had Lawler and Dundee in different towns. You know, it just depends where you're at, who the baby in the heel was. However, in that angle, during that angle, I had there was an accident that occurred where Jacob stuffed the ballot box with all of his YouTube followers, and he won Manager of the Year. And I came out, and, you know, he came out first and says, I won Manager of the Year, and this means nothing to me. I just want to make sure the Mortimer Blankenship didn't get it. And of course, everything that he said that wasn't nice, he cut out and made it look like he really was excited about winning that. It was so genius on his behalf to make everybody still think he was the good guy. And then he came out, and I came out, and, you know, that may mean nothing to you, but that means everything to me and the people of Madison, Cheap Pop, you know, all that. And basically, long story short, it ended up getting broken over my head, and a piece of glass went into my shin and cut my shin open. I had to have 10 staples. It was real. It was very nice.
I had to go get it. That's why I muted my camera.
Oh, is that not autographed?
Not by you.
Well,
by the Carpetbagger right there.
Man, I tell you what, I have a giant size poster that autographed by everybody on the show. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's awesome. But yeah, so it came down to a Mutton Chop versus Mutton Chop match. Going into it, we did the match, and the whole time we did it where he was going to hit me with a stunner and then go over. That was the whole build up. And then up I guess he was just doing this as a gesture to me. I don't know. He goes, Morty, you're going over. Here's what we're going to do. And he changed it at the end. So I ended up going over. Everybody was shocked. I shaved his sideburns off. Jacob did a few more things with us. He ended up being our junior heavyweight champion for a bit, took the belt all over the United States, did promos with the belt. There's a scene where he's definitely not a junior heavyweight. There's a scene where he's doing his weigh-in, and you can see like bare feet on a scale. and the numbers that pop up, that was his daughter that did that for him. True story. His daughter stood on the scale to make him look. And that's a great. It's just awesome. And then more recently, we did an angle for Wrestle with This on another. It's a YouTube channel. Wrestle with This. It was me and 5 Count Frank versus Mega Mondo and Jacob the Carpetbagger, and that was a lot of fun. I always love having Jacob come into town, hang out, stay at the house, and just have a good time. We become really good friends. He was a groomsman in my wedding, and I see him like a brother now. We once you do something like that, and he's like, I caused bodily harm to you, man. I'm sorry. I'm like, it's okay. Can you autograph right above, and I'm going to get it tattooed. Nah, but yeah, me and Jacob. That's that match was in front of 1,300 people in Hanover, Indiana.
Cool.
All right. I think you're next. Before you go,
I seen you have a question there.
Another one out of the chat group here from Michael Thornton. So you mentioned taking bumps earlier.
So, curious on this.
This is an inside joke. It's my buddy Thor. It's got to be 25 feet at least. It's got to be at least 25 feet. He fell 25 feet from the top of that cage to that table. That's a magic table, man. Okay, sorry. That's the answer he's looking for.
Okay, my question is favorite match that you've been a part of.
I just talked about it.
Okay, that's what I was thinking when I.
I mean, I could give you some great runner-ups.
What's some runner-ups?
On the same show, I managed Jerry the King Lawler. So I did not do a single thing in that match. No interruptions. No, just stand on the side and make facial expressions. And yet, when you're managing a legend, it was him and Eric Draven against Nick Noble and Van Mortigan. When whenever you manage a legend, that stays in your mind forever. There's just been so many things I've done. There's just match after match of me against young guy. Okay, and he probably doesn't know that this match means as much to me as it does. But there's a guy in Supreme that's kind of making his way up, and Brendan Shades is his name, and he started out as a referee, and his first match as a wrestler was against me in Supreme in Seymour, Indiana at Brooklyn Pizza. It's an outdoor pizza. It's like in front of, that place was packed. I want to say there was 300 people in this little outdoor venue. And, just to put him over in front of his friends and family and give him that first adrenaline boost, that adrenaline rush you feel, is an honor. And I don't think he knows that it means that much to me. Because I try not to get that sappy about things, but yeah, for him to have that moment in that match and to feel that feeling, for me, my first time I ever felt that, it's much like, I guess they say, cocaine, because I'm always chasing it. That high that you get from it, I wouldn't know, but I'm always chasing that adrenaline rush now.
Yeah, I think that's what keeps most people in the business, is chasing that adrenaline rush. Oh
yeah, there's such thing as like after show depression. Like you build up and build up for a match. Like if you're in an angle, like with right now, I'm not in a lot of angles. I mean, the two shows that I'm in monthly, well, I haven't the past few months because my client is injured, but Emerge and Wrestling Theology Fellowship. So those are the places where, I have angles. And once we get that big angle and the big blow off happens, man, for a week, I am just down in the dumps. And I try not to be, but you can't beat it. It's one of those things like, man, that was awesome. Oh, now we got to build it all back up again. Like at Emerge, when it was the angle of basically me versus Jordan Cage, and that we had the blow off in Trafalgar at Emerge. After that happened, I can remember just sitting there in the corner of the ring after getting stunned and bouncing back through a table, just sitting there going, "Oh, that didn't hurt as bad as I thought it would," and "Oh man, this is over." But yeah, that's probably the best answer after that.
Another question here.
Promotions I want to venture out in 2025. Shall I look at my shall I look at my calendar because it's pretty booked? Let's look. Because I've been reaching out to people left and right. Let's see here. All right, let's go. So of course, Emerge and WTF every month is my goal. I have it booked on here. Supreme Wrestling is coming back to Seymour, Indiana. There's going to be 5 shows in 2025 at the Knights of Columbus that have been booked. I'm also going to be making my debut at Signal 10 Wrestling on looks like January 18th. There's a few other places. I like JICW. Let me see here. Pro Wrestling King. What else? I've reached out to a lot of places, but I'm also in 2025. I'm also doing a limited schedule. I actually posted that the other day that I am doing a limited schedule. I'm only going to work 3 Saturday shows and either 1 Friday or 1 Sunday show a month. So once those dates get booked up, I close the rest of the month out, and I'm spending time with my wife and my daughter. That's more important than anything right now. Don't get me wrong. I love wrestling. I love helping the youngins out. I would love to be on plenty of shows. I've been in Indiana my entire life. I have wrestled in all over Indiana, all southern Indiana, southeastern Indiana, northern Indiana. I've wrestled down in. I've wrestled over here with my daughter. I wrestled down in performed down in Tennessee at pro wrestling. Let's see here, Mid South. Let's see some other shows. Did so many different names. Wrestled in Knoxville, Dyersburg, and then another place. I've done shows down there. Believe it or not, I've never been in Ohio and I've never been in Illinois. I would love to work in Ohio and Illinois. I've been in contact with some people, but in case you don't know this, being a professional wrestling manager is not a commodity anymore. A lot of shows don't like us. A lot of people think that, and this is going to be me getting on my soapbox. A lot of people think that we are just somebody's girlfriend and or cousin that can just stand out beside a ring and add something to the show and only deserve a $20 bill to do so. I mean, I'm pretty sure, and I don't like tooting my own horn, but toot, here we go. I believe Marcus could tell you that any show that I'm on, I add a lot to it. I've been doing it long enough, and I've always been an entertainer. Before I was in wrestling, I was acting in high school. I was singing. I was dancing. It's what I'm an entertainer by birth, and I get all these people want to see these 5-star wrestling matches, but a manager can add to the story because wrestling fans like 5-star matches, but not everybody in that crowd is a wrestling fan. Everybody, including wrestling fans and the people that are just there like, oh, what's this all about? Enjoy a good story. There's a reason why in the 30s, when professional wrestling went from just 2 guys wrestling to good guys versus bad guys, that it did just that. The reason it did that is because it tells a story. It connects with people emotionally, and I believe a manager can help do that. And on top of that, you have guys that need that extra boost of confidence. You have guys that need that talk. I could be wrong, but I think that I may do a better job at entertaining your fans and putting asses in seats than somebody's girlfriend or cousin. And when people tell me that, it pisses me off to no end. Because I've worked in this business for 15 years very hard, very, very hard to bust my ass time and time again, offer carloads of trained wrestlers, and get turned down because I'm a manager. It's real, guys.
And
I kid you not. I get turned down more because I'm a manager than anything.
And there's no disrespect to any wrestlers, but there's some wrestlers that need a manager to help them get over because they can't tell a story. There's some wrestlers they can get in there and they can do the moves, they can do a 5-star match, but they can't connect with the crowd because they either don't know how to work the crowd or they just don't know how to tell that story. Where, I mean, how many times have you seen it with Paul Heyman? How many guys has Paul Heyman helped make? Just by
Moves don't mean anything. I hate to tell people that, but here's what I tell. I'll take my hand off here. I'm getting all heated up. Here's what I tell the guys and gals that sit in my car with me. Think of the guys that everybody knows. Okay, everybody knows. Even people that aren't wrestling fans know these names: Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Roman Reigns. Do you want me to keep going? The Rock. Okay, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everybody knows who these people are, even if they don't give a rat's butt about professional wrestling. They know who that is because they are a larger-than-life character. Not because of the moves they did, because they're a larger-than-life character. All of those guys have the same thing. They have a great promo, and there's one of my guys right there, 5-Count Frank, Ethan. They all have the same thing. They have a great promo. They are a solid worker, not a great worker, and they have 5 moves of doom. And they don't bump their butts off. There's no reason to bump your butt off. Save the bump card, people. Everybody, well, Ricochet does it. Yeah, Ricochet's Ricochet. I get that, he does a great match, and I will never take that away from him, that he knows how to do athletic things. But last time I checked, didn't the WWE create a belt so that people could do 2-minute flippy-do matches because they had nowhere else to put them?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But you have the guys that are on the top of the card still have people that are their managers to tell a story. They still have people that are cheating for them and all of, I try to show people it. When I say it's not rocket science and it's not brain surgery, I mean it. I can go out there as a wrestler under a mask and entertain more people than the guys that go out there and just do their spots. And I don't take a bump. I'll go out there, do a common match under a mask. If anybody wants to guess who that masked person is, it's not hard to figure it out. I'll go out there and do it. And the only bump is me getting rolled up in the corner after I miss a corner splash and then putting their feet on the ropes and winning. And the crowd's pissed. It's all about telling the story. A great interview, a great promo, solid worker, 5 moves. That is the key to success in this business, as long as you got that charisma. It's like playing Dungeons and Dragons and dumping all your stats in Riz. It's not it's not hard. Dump all your points in Riz.
Well, the Bloodline story was one of the biggest stories in wrestling, and it wouldn't have been near as big if you take Paul Heyman out of that.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. I mean, and go back even back farther. Jerry the King Lawler and Andy Kaufman.
Yep.
You think Andy Kaufman was a good wrestler? Who was the most hated man in wrestling at one point? Andy Kaufman. What you do. It's how you connect to the audience, and doing flips in the air does not connect you to the audience. Don't get me wrong. If your finisher is a big swanton or something, do it when it makes sense. Don't do it at the beginning of the match because then nobody cares. Thank you, Justice. I do appreciate that. I really do, because I want to see people succeed, and I want to see people have long careers. And I'm not going to name names. There are guys that I've been put with that are great workers, but they don't use me. That goes along the lines of everybody calling their spots in the back. The whole thing. When I'm out there, I'm going to give you a beginning, a middle, and an end. And then I'm going to go out there and call the rest in the ring. Wait, a professional wrestling manager that can actually call matches in the ring? What is that? Sorry, I'm getting a little spiteful. Go ahead and ask your next question.
No, actually, my question was going to be, just to add on to this, is why do you think more of these independent promotions don't use managers? Because this is something that we've talked about before.
Because the bookers are marks and not wrestlers. That may sound rude.
No, that makes sense. Actually,
it's 100% why. The bookers are marks and don't understand the business. They just want to make their show look like what they see on AEW or stuff. I can't say WWE because WWE still does it right somewhat.
Yeah, AEW. That's what their problem is. They don't have a booker. They got a mark, and that's what their problem is right now.
Yeah, and I hate to be like that. Make me sound like an angry old vet, but it's the truth. There's so many people that. And that's one reason why I respect WTF so much. Rich Abbott's the owner of that company, but he doesn't book it. The GM, Drew Skills, does. He's the general manager for a reason.
Yep.
All these shows that you come to that look, name some of the best shows that you see right now that make sense. And I may be a little biased, but I think Emerge Wrestling and WTF are two of the best shows in the Midwest that I work on. And they're both booked by workers, by wrestlers. You know what I mean? I was just recently on AACW. Great card, booked by wrestlers. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot more people, and that's something that's changed, because back in the day when I first got in this business, I remember Eric Draven telling me time and time again, because I used to talk about how I'd want to run shows. And, oh no, kid, you got to get more years under your belt before anybody will be on your show because they won't respect you enough. I don't think that's a thing now. I think as long as you got the money, somebody will come out there and flip 3,000 times for you in the middle of that ring. And I would much rather tell a story, take less bumps, and maybe even take a pay cut as long as I can sell my merch because I told that story.
No, I agree. That's what as a fan keeps me watching is the story. It's not watching the flips and like you said, the moves. It's the story, and that's what
And the thing is, a lot of these people don't want to do the work. And I keep saying ask Marcus because Marcus has seen a lot of the stuff I do. Marcus, when you come to a show, who's the hardest working person selling merch out there?
You're jumping questions again.
Sorry. I digress. I will wait.
Marcus, it's your turn. So you go ahead and ask the question.
Mind level. That's funny because I was just getting ready to say this may be another. Hey, Jeff Gerhardt, I'm glad to see you on here, buddy. Miss seeing you at the shows. I was going to bring it up. Tell us about you creating your own merch and then marketing your own merch, because I've seen nobody do what you do. You conned me into a grab bag. They told me to find 15 of them at the very next show. So,
okay, I have to thank my wife for this. My wife had a great idea I took it and ran with it. I buy fedora hats off of Amazon at a bulk wholesale price, and I sell them for $5 a piece. Do I have a logo on that hat? No. Do I autograph it? Yes. How much does putting autograph on a hat cost? Well, you take the price of a marker, $2, and divide that by however many autographs you could sign with it. A lot cheaper than putting a logo on that hat, right? Yep. And people like that because when they see me and I'm out at that ring, I am wearing a fedora. I have created an image. Well, you can't see it because of my virtual background, but I have created an image with a fedora hat. I've tried to teach people this. Trust me, I've done seminars about this. You create an image of yourself. There's too many cookie cutter wrestlers that just go out there and look the same, don't have anything different about them. Now, there's Gaston Leroux, people like that. yeah, probably did. There's Gaston Leroux. There's Avery Hertz. There's people that have a gimmick and they carry something to the ring with them. And I have a golf club that I carry to the ring, but in all reality, do you think I want to carry a whole bunch of golf clubs and sell golf clubs? Because I could go to Goodwill right now and I could buy a bunch of golf clubs for $50 and then turn around and sell them. But I'm not going to do that. This is a lot easier to pack into a small, suitcase. On top of that, my grab bags. Okay, grab bags. Everybody. Those are marketed for kids. I'm going to try to sell them to anybody because that's what you're supposed to do is sell your merch. But they are marketed to kids. They have about 4 or 5 items, give or take a few in them. They're always guaranteed to have an autographed picture in them. Always guaranteed to have an autographed picture in them. And everything in it has to do with money because I'm the Mutton Chop Millionaire. And then Marcus also has one of my trading cards that I had made personally. I want to thank Rich Abbott for that. He designed it, and then Backroad Customs here in Southern Indiana, they're the ones who printed them off for me. Thank you guys. I do appreciate that. And I sell those for $2 a piece. You can't get them anywhere else except for me. So my go-to selling point, I don't worry about T-shirts. If somebody wants to buy a T-shirt, there's a QR code on the back of my binder that they could scan, go to Jackson County Apparel, and buy a shirt. It's that simple. But I don't worry about T-shirt sales because when it comes to T-shirt sales, a lot of these people are selling $25, $30 T-shirts, and you may sell 1 or 2 T-shirts, and that's all you sell that night because that's all you have on your table are expensive T-shirts. I sell $5 hats, $5 grab bags, $2 trading cards. You buy the hat, you buy the grab bag for $10. I give you the trading card for free. It's a $12 deal for $10. I give deals. It's low overhead, but also cheap products. Well, not cheap, but low price products for people. Because not everybody has $25 to $30 they want to get rid of. But most people have a $5 bill to hand you, or 10.
Well, if a family goes and they've got 4 kids with them, they're not going to be able to buy 4 T-shirts, but they could buy. They could buy
4 of my deals.
Yeah.
And the best part is with that, and I've seen this happen before. With that the grab bag, if they just leave it, they have wrestlers sign the back of it, like that's their autograph paper now. And in the past, I've done things. Anything to bring this is and I'm giving away this for free. This is part of my seminar, but anything to bring the children to your table to see your stuff so that they'll go get their parents and bring them is what you want. Because like I used to put, the little pop-it keychains, has nothing to do with Mortimer Blankenship, but they were on my table. And so were some, and people may call this carny, but guess what? We got to make our money somehow. A lot of bookers may think this sounds stupid, but I'm doing this for you bookers. All you bookers need to realize that I don't expect you to pay me as much as all these other guys, these green guys do, because I can make my money. Let me do my thing. Let me make my money. And if I come to a show and if I get booked on a show where they're like, well, heels don't sell merch. Well, then you better pay me at least an extra $100 because I plan on making that in my merch. I ask every booker beforehand, do you allow merch sales from heels? Because some people don't. Because we're not supposed to be out there with them. And I understand that's an old school look. But back in the day when the old school look still was real, the heels made more money than the babies. The babies were expected to sell their merch and make money off of that. The heels were made a flat rate. I don't know. That's my thought process on merch sales. That's what why I do what I do.
Okay. My question is
Can I add
favorite.
something? Sorry, can I add
Go
something?
ahead.
You also work the floor.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't see anybody else doing what you do when you go around. Before and through intermission, you are working the floor.
Yeah, I don't just stand behind my table. If I have a green guy that's with me or my wife or somebody that'll stay behind my table and make those sales whenever I'm not out there, absolutely. But before the show and during intermission, even after the show, if somebody needs an autograph or something, I'm out there working the floor. I'm talking to people, staying in gimmick, telling people, hey, look, I got just the thing for you, Marcus. You need one of these hats to cover up that bald head of yours. You got to stay in gimmick. And people love interaction. Look, I'll be the first one to admit to you, I'm not famous, guys. I'm not famous. I may be known from southern Indiana up to northern Indiana a little bit. I'm known on YouTube a little bit, but I'm not famous. But at that moment in time to those kids and to, some of those wrestling fans, I do something they've never done. And they want that autograph. So use it. Use it to give them what they want and make some money in return. That's commerce, folks. That's what this is about. That's why this is a business.
Yep. Favorite match, favorite independent match that you've seen live?
A favorite independent match that I've seen as a fan?
It could be one that you've worked or you're a part of, or it could be just one you've seen as a fan.
I don't go. So since I became a wrestling manager, I've been in the business. Let's put it that way. I don't really go to a lot of shows I don't pay for a ticket. That sounds really bad, but once I do, I don't pay for a ticket to go see something that I do. I have on one occasion, and I'm not going to name one of the person's names in it, but I will name one. Gaston LaRue. Gaston LaRue, I helped, in Supreme when he was starting out. I've managed him. I have a very good rapport with him. He's a great kid, knows what he's doing, knows how to save bumps, knows how to work a gimmick. There's a reason why NWA has their eyes on him, but he had a pretty real, I'm not going to name names on this part, he had a pretty real big feud with a guy who put his face on one of his t-shirts. And I paid to see Gaston beat the crap out of that guy. And that was probably one of the funnest things I've seen in a while, because I really wanted to see that guy, get what he deserved, because you don't use somebody else's image to make money. And he did. I've seen this guy wearing that shirt backstage before, and it's just, it's not right. And you wouldn't see me doing that. You wouldn't see Gaston doing that. You wouldn't see most wrestlers, because this is, it's a business, but also it's a family. We try to respect each other, and that crossed the line. But I don't think this guy is intelligent enough. And this is not me being Morty. This is me being a shoot. This is a shoot statement right here. This guy isn't smart enough. He's to realize when people are saying things to him, they're being serious. When people are saying, hey, shut up, this isn't how it's supposed to be in the business, he doesn't realize. So I can't really hold that against him. But I did start a quit the business chant that night. He didn't take my advice.
Okay, Chris?
Let Marcus go.
Okay, Marcus is going to be the last question. We're out of time.
I don't, seriously. I knew what to ask him, and I got him in. So
Okay.
if you want to tell us something surprises you or whatever,
Yeah, I'll do that real quick. Let me find it here on my list. Something that we would be surprised to know about you.
I'm an ordained minister. I've married 4 different couples.
Okay.
There's a lot of people in the pro wrestling business that are ordained
I
ministers.
know a bunch.
Uh-huh.
I know
a bunch too.
I've already talked about it. I used to be a decent size. I have a decent sized YouTube following. I used to have a monetized channel on YouTube. I became a dad Halloween of last year. What else? There's not much,
Actually, real quick, because Billy's getting ready to get off here. I did see that he had asked this question earlier, and I didn't get to put it up. He had said he didn't know how old your daughter was, but would you? He asked if you would expose your daughter to the wrestling business, or try to keep her away from it.
Before she was born, she already had a wrestling name. I will protect her by all means, and if she doesn't want to do professional wrestling, I will not be heartbroken. But I have this thing where I would love my retirement match for me to be her manager in her first match. As she cries, that's not a good sign. She's crying in the background. But when we first got the ultrasound pictures back, she looked like a little blip on the radar. So they started calling her Blip, and Blip became Blip the Flip Blankenship. And that's her wrestling name right now in our mind. In my mind. And if she does, I'll be happy. If she doesn't, I'll be happy as well. The world is her oyster, and she will do as she wants. And I will be there to support her the entire way.
Well, we appreciate you being on with us today or tonight.
Thank you.
But do you have any thing you'd like to promote real quick?
Okay, let's see here. Emerge Wrestling, keep an eye out. You never know when I'm going to pop up. Wrestling Theology Fellowship, check it out when you can. There's going to be a Blizzard Brawl in December. I think that's December 7th.
That's always a good show.
Yep,
it's a lot of fun. You'll see a lot of good. 5 Count Frank will be there. I'll be managing him. Jacob Rose will be there. I'll be managing him as well. Come check that out. Also, I do cameos. If you want me to do a funny video, I'll do anything you want me to do. I'll even do a breakup. I don't care. It's $5. It's cameo.com/MortyB3. And I'll do a, minute to 2 minute long promo or video or whatever you want me to say, as long as it won't get me canceled. I'll do that. And then let me see here. What else is there? Mortimer Blankenship on Facebook. I'm the only one you could find on there. Like my stuff, comment on stuff, send me stars. Apparently that's a thing. I don't know. But yeah, do some of that cool stuff. And also, if you're a booker and you would like to have the Mutton Chop Millionaire Mortimer Blankenship III on your show, reach out, DM me on Facebook or mortimerblankenship@gmail.com. I think that's about it.
Again, we appreciate you being on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, did a great job. I'd like to have you on again sometime. So we'll be in touch.
Absolutely. Just shoot me a DM and I'll line it back up, because I know I have a different thing I got to do every night of the week. So just let me know.
Okay. Well, again, appreciate you coming on, and everybody have a good night.
All right. We appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like and follow Facebook, Twitch, X, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room as well.
Click that bell icon.
Hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you guys on Monday.
I know YouTube.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.